At its core, Dark Souls is a game about the need for humanity to reach out and make a connection. So it only makes sense that its multiplayer aspects are not only a ton of fun, but also a beautiful translation of this game's message. Despite a majority of the covenants in this game being PvP oriented, they all find ways to have their own unique qualities, and they also intersect with each other in really interesting ways. None of the other From Software games have a multiplayer quite as unique as this one, and I just want to get these thoughts out there because these covenants rule.
I will stay behind to gaze at the sun. The sun is a wondrous body, like a magnificent father.
The Warriors of Sunlight is the primary co-op covenant, and also probably the most popular covenant outside of maybe the Dark Wraiths. This covenant is all about the power of friendship. It's not just about boss fights, it's also about escorting and protecting. In Dark Souls 3, the player can just ember up at the boss arena, so there's really no incentive in going online early. But in Dark Souls, you need to be at a bonfire to become human. This means that the player is signing up for all online interaction, and this not only opens up so much opportunity for the host, but also for the summons as well. You get to engage with the world together, and now it is also your job as a phantom to make sure that the other players don't kill them. Being able to help people out and also take out invaders while guiding them is one of the most satisfying experiences, and it makes the sometimes horrible wait times worth it. The Warriors of Sunlight and just the co-op feature in general offer insight into part of what makes these covenants so damn special to me. These features are not just limited to jolly cooperation. They are a means by which the player can express themselves. Instead of putting us in a box, From Software gives us this feature and tells us to do whatever we want with it. Sometimes co-op phantoms are working with the bastards, aiding in more nefarious activity, and I think this is just great. Co-op isn't just limited to being a goody two-shoes, you can also be sinister, a ganker if you will. Now obviously, ganking isn't exclusive to Dark Souls, but I feel like it's definitely the least obnoxious here. In Dark Souls 3 and Elden Ring, it seems like all interaction is tied to invaders versus gankers, and in the case of Elden Ring, the complete absence of covenants basically removes any sense of community. It just feels so streamlined in later games. In this game, we have field range to make with these systems as we please, and you get to interact with all these interesting sections of the world. In Dark Souls 3, you commune with a rotting corpse. Dark Souls has a cat. Man, I am so good at segues.
Oh, indeed. Thou art a strange one. Nevertheless, I feel some liking for thee.
The first proper PvP covenant I'll talk about is the Forest Hunters. Again, there's just so much characterization here, and it is integrated so well into the actual gameplay loop of the covenant. I love how this covenant just gets to do its own little thing tucked away in a little corner of the world. This band of hunters may seem like a tight-knit bunch, but the more you talk to Alvina, the more it seems like many of the members are no different from the supposed grave robbers we are hunting.
Oh, the camera's on. The camera's been on the whole time, huh?
Shiva of the East is the only human from the Covenant we can interact with, and he ditches you to go be an arms dealer down in Florida. Everything about this Covenant is just so schemy. You spawn super far away from the host, and you get rewarded with random upgrade materials. I like how these material rewards highlight how shallow the actual motives of this Covenant is. Outside of Alvina, of course, who is the only living thing in this forest with an actual backbone. Also, side note, I've been having trouble getting matches lately with this Covenant, and I'm unsure if it's because I leveled my character too much. If anyone on Xbox could let me know what levels provide the best matchmaking rates for the Forest Hunters, that'd be great, thank you.
I am your guardian. Go on, state your wish.
Welcome back, Blade of the Dark Moon. If mine power be needst, I shall assist thee.
The Dark Wraiths and Darkmoons are nearly identical in terms of mechanics, but the different contexts of the two Covenants makes for two completely unique experiences. Something unique about the Darkmoons is that the wait times take an eternity. In all seriousness, having an invader for the invader creates this great karma system that is completely reliant on other players being willing to participate in it. I also love how the two groups aren't, your typical good versus evil. There's a lot of nuance here. Sure, Koth is like the most obvious manipulator ever, but There is nobility in fighting against the Age of Fire, albeit the methods they use do come off as a bit barbaric. The Darkmoons may seem to serve the status quo, but have you also considered that they are led by the most beautiful person in the world? There's a lot of nuance here. When I invade, I always try to give the people I invade a humanity or two, and also give them indictments because I'm trying to climb up the big board.
I did everything right and they indicted me.
You know, I'm just trying to fight people. I'm not here to be mean. Alright, now onto the good shit. The Covenant I really love.
Mods, Precious Gold, thank you.
The Gravelord Covenant is often regarded as a bit of an oddity, and that's the way I like it, honestly. I love how these messages show up with no explanation, and then you see this black metal summon sign. It's just awesome. The Gravelords don't discriminate and spread misery and death to all people no matter the Covenant. Even though one of the main functions of this Covenant, the Red Phantoms, is basically completely non-existent for most players, I still think this Covenant's draw is effective. The whole thing about Gravelording is making yourself public enemy number one, and you can still do that even without directly affecting people's worlds. Your mere existence is a challenge. People want to beat you. I want to beat this stupid bald bastard. This is such an incredible social dynamic to participate in, and it's always interesting to me to see how other people decide to Gravelord. Me personally, I like going evil mode. Again, Dark Souls gives us these tools, and we decide what to do with them.
Step off! Shit! They jumping me! They jumping me!
Alright, I think that covers everything. I mean, do I really have to? Alright, I'll do it. The Path of the Dragon Covenant is for all the freaks out there. I went a little cuckoo trying to get a character down to the Everlasting Dragon because I was dead set on being able to do the Covenant at a low level. Quite fitting that a Covenant involving dragon fanatics would also require you to go off the deep end to join it. I've never actually interacted with the multiplayer component of this Covenant before, and I gotta say, it surprised me with how fun and unique it felt. I had a lot of fun just using solely my Dragon Breath because it's funny and it also makes me feel a little less bad for steamrolling these low levels. And also, they are the ones that invite you to invade, so you aren't morally in the wrong. I mean, it's just such a funny Covenant. I think this guy was new to the game and had no idea he was summoning an invader. He seemed genuinely terrified of me. Also, Jesus Christ, I lost the footage of it, but there were two guys I ran into named New Game and Run Number 2. Like, come on, guys. Oh yeah, here's my RPG character. His name is 5. Come on now. Be better. If you commit to the insanity enough, you can unlock the full dragon form for maximum funny. With that, we are done with all the Covenants. I had already loved this game's multiplayer component before, but this video let me give some of these Covenants a proper chance, and I ended up loving the systems even more. It's always nice to find more reasons to love my favorite game. There's something so bold about this game's choice to not really lay any of this stuff out for you. The game demands that you instead seek this stuff out on your own or find it through connecting with others. It's your choice to make whether to connect with others or not. Our relationships with other people comes with the risk of frustration and toxicity. But if you ask me, that's a risk worth taking. And please, come up with a better name. Like, come on. Please.